Hello, and welcome to our presentation of Analytic Data Set 70 Group 4 of the title Facts About Hypertension. First of all, I would like to do an introduction of our group's research project. So, high blood pressure is a classic worldwide problem and remains a major global health burden. Thus, this study was intended to identify the relationship of hypertension with age, gender, and body mass index. Our objectives are simple and there are only three. One is to identify the prevalence of hypertension and the factors affecting it. Two is to investigate the relationship between age and hypertension. And three is to analyze the relationship between body mass index, or BMI for short, and hypertension. Before moving on towards the research findings, allow me to explain a bit about our source. So the source that we had is 320 samples, and these samples are sourced from the local village. The type of data that we acquired is through questionnaire, and the type of data that we had are categorical and numerical. Now, towards the research finding, allow me first to explain about the findings that we had on the variables that we targeted upon these samples. Firstly is gender. So out of the 320 samples that participated and answered our questionnaire about hypertension, 45% of them, or 145 people, are male, and 55% of them, or 175 people, are female. Second is body mass index. For body mass index, out of the 320 samples, most of the samples have pre-obese as their reading for their BMI, which is the highest out of all categories, standing in at 33%, or 107 people, while the lowest is obese 2, which is at 4%, or 12 people. Thirdly is hypertension. So for hypertension, out of all these samples, 21% of them, or 66 people, of them are diagnosed with hypertension, while 79% of them, or 245 people, the majority of this case, are healthy. Finally is age. For age, 13% of them, or 41 people, are below 20 years old, while 40% of them, or 128 people, are from 21 years old to 48 years old. Now, moving on towards the significance of our variables and their relationship towards each other. First one is on gender and hypertension. So out of the 66 samples who have hypertension, 59% of them, or 39 of them, are female, while 41% of them, or 27 of them, are male. Hence, the prevalence of females getting hypertension is higher than males. Second relation is on body mass index and hypertension. So, out of all the groups of obesity, or in this case the body mass index, of all these groups, obese one had the highest percentage getting hypertension, which stands at 42%, or 28 people, while the lowest is category obese 2 and obese 3, which is at 7.5%, or 5 people. Finally is the relationship between age and hypertension. Out of the 66 hypersensitive samples that we had, 61% of them, or 40 of them, are from age group 41 to 80 years old, while 35% of them, or 23 people, are aged from 61 to 80 years old respectively. Finally, we had a meager amount of people, which is at 3, who are hypertensive, aged between 21 years old and 40 years old. With that, I thank you.